Thank you, Paul.
Nice to have you for part two. And
Thank
some of the things I wanted to ask you about have to do with nutrients and then maybe like social aspects of eating this way. And we'll see what else comes up along the way.
You
So,
can ask me anything.
all right, all right.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'd like to hear your take on is vitamin B12.
Vitamin B12 is actually not a vitamin, it's a bacteria, and this is the meat eaters' favorite argument against veganism because they always say, oh, it shows that we need animal flesh because otherwise we won't get our B12. The thing is, back in the days, the earth was more filled with B12. So when we had vegetables and we didn't wash them as much, we got a little bit of dirt on our vegetables and we got our B12 through that. So today we wash everything down and we might not get as much. So, I have bigger things to worry about, so I keep it very simple. I just take a supplement. And
Yeah,
I know that a lot of vegans, they use it through a needle, like they put it in
yeah,
like
injection,
that.
yeah, yep.
Exactly, injections. And what I have read is that it's very easy for the body to absorb through the liver just taking an oral pill, a supplement. So I really don't understand why so many people would want to use a needle instead. Beyond me. But I'm fine. I get my blood work done once a year. Perfect.
Okay.
So
And do you
yeah,
take it once? Do you take it once a week, Gitte, or how often do you take it?
maybe every other day
Okay.
or
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. And the second nutrient I'm interested in is vitamin D.
Vitamin D, we're not supposed to get through only our food. We're supposed to get that through the sun. We are born without clothes, and we warm up our houses so we can live. But if you go back to nature in a paradise state, you would be outside all day while it was light and get your vitamin D through that.
Yep.
So in Denmark, we don't have a lot of sun. I try to go out and get as much sun as I can. I haven't been using a tanning bed for, gosh, 25 years. But I actually am considering doing that when winter time comes again. I know they get a really bad rap, but I saw a video with Freely the other day where she went to a tanning bed, and I actually thought a lot about it and read a little bit more about that as well. And as Dr. McDougall says, it's actually better to get your vitamin D that way than to take vitamin D in a pill form.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
So I'm going to study up a little bit more about that. Of course, never overdo it. Don't get burned or anything, but just a little bit of sun, I
Yep.
think is fine.
Okay, great. And and then the third nutrient I'm usually interested in is iodine.
Yeah, I know Don Bennett has done a lot about that. And
Yeah.
if you are iodine deficient, it can have a lot of symptoms. So that would definitely be something that I would check out. And I have, since I've been going more towards raw and not having, because they put it in the salt here. I don't know if they do that in America, but they put it in the salt in Denmark just to make sure that everybody gets iodine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but since I try not to eat as much salt, then I've actually bought some kelp, it's called, and that
Yes.
is a supplement. I don't take it every day, but I take it once in a while just as an insurance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
that's
they
what.
do. They do iodize salt in the United States, and it's interesting. They had problems. I guess it was. I don't know if it was 100 years ago, but or 50 to 100 years ago in the United States, they had a lot of problems. So they mandated that you had to put iodine in the salt, and then when certain people became interested in natural health, they began more to eat sea salt or just not use salt at all.
Hmm.
And a lot of these sea salts are not iodized like the table salt is. So some
Exactly.
people
And
have some people make the argument that artificially processed salt is not healthy, but natural salts like sea salt might be healthy. And then, of course, you have, some very, very, let's say, doctrinaire vegans or raw fooders who say, no salt at all whatsoever. So, yeah.
Yeah, it all depends. I mean, I think you really need to listen to your body and also get a blood test maybe once a year just to make sure. I used to have a low thyroid and I didn't know about it before I was tested. Actually, Copenhagen, where I used to live, they just offered this free health test, and I just went in and it said that I had a high, I don't remember what it's called, H something, I don't remember. But anyway, my thyroid was not working optimal. But then I got checked 3 months after.
Yeah.
No problem. It was fine again, and I didn't take any medicine. So and they say that you can't fix that by diet, but I'm the proof that you can.
Yes, yes.
So.
All right. So another thing I'd like to hear your thoughts on is water. How much water do you think is important to drink a day if you do add water outside of your food?
Yeah, oh yeah, I have a lot of water outside my food. I mean, definitely if you have some cooked food, I always try to drink a lot of water half an hour before I have potatoes. So definitely. And I start every morning by drinking a whole liter of water. That's a lot of water. And
Okay.
I don't drink it too cold. I don't take it directly from the refrigerator because then it's going to upset digestion. But if you drink a whole liter of water when you wake up, just do it slowly. Taste, while I do my daughter's lunchbox and get ready for the day, I just go and sip water. Then I wait about half an hour, and then I have my green smoothie.
Okay.
And that is the best tip ever for an amazing digestion. So, and another thing that's important, because I also put a lot of water in my green smoothie, is not to just drink it too fast, I have found. So drink it slowly. You wouldn't eat 5 bananas or 10 bananas maybe in 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
it takes me about half an hour to drink my whole Vitamix smoothie.
Okay.
So definitely I drink water, and I also exercise. I mean, you can't see it from here, but I have my spin bike right here, and I really sweat a lot. So yeah, I definitely, I drink a lot of water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And since you mentioned that morning green smoothie, tell us the average ingredients of that. So it sounds like there's several bananas, and then what else you put in there?
Yeah, oh, I am so much into herbs. You should see my garden. I have tons of herbs. Like, now I don't know all the English words, but lemon balm, mint. I have lots of persil, what is it called?
Oh, purslane?
Yes, no, wait, parsley.
Parsley. Yes, yes.
Yes. So I put a lot of that in, and I put a lot of spinach. I'll even put kale in it. And
Yep.
I found out that the trick to get your smoothie to taste awesome every time, without
Yeah.
exception, is don't use too many ingredients because you're going to mess it all up. Keep it simple. Only use one kind of fruit, maybe
Uh-huh.
one, two, dates and bananas. Those are the best. And also, what was I going to say? Yeah, you can combine something sweet with something bitter. So putting a little bit of lemon juice in it with the dates, that is
Interesting.
really, really yummy. And I am a big, big fan of ginger as well. So I actually put fresh ginger in all of my smoothies. But
Wow.
I mean, I am the smoothie queen here in Denmark. I am making 30 vlogs right now, 30 days in a row with a new green smoothie recipe every day. And every
Nice.
day I answer a health question. And I think it is the most perfect way to get more greens in.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
really, really easy. You can take it on the go. I have a little cooling bag that I take with me when I'm going to go and do public speaking. I have it with me in my car. So easy,
Okay.
and
And
it tastes awesome.
okay. And would
Yeah.
you say that you have about 10 bananas in there, and then how many cups of greens, if you could put an
Okay.
average?
I don't put 10 bananas anymore. I did that in the beginning, but I will gain weight if I have too many calories. That's
Ah,
just the fact. I know that some people, and I've seen videos with Freely, and I could see that back in 2009, she actually told that she had been on this diet for, not a diet, a lifestyle for a year and a half before she started losing weight. So I don't know if it would happen even though I continue to put 10 bananas in each smoothie, but I don't need 10 bananas in a smoothie. So I put about 3 to 5 actually, and then I put like a whole handful of the spinach,
yeah.
and I'll put like a whole bunch of mint maybe. I put a lot in it. I like it strong. I have just there are so many different kinds of just mint. If you take that, I bought one yesterday called chocolate mint. It
Wow.
tastes like after eight chocolate. You know the chocolate after eight?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh my God! It's like an after eight smoothie. You
Wow,
you
that
feel
sounds.
like you're doing something you're not supposed to because it really tastes that awesome.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and I've also started to using coconut sugar.
Ah,
Coconut sugar, and so not the refined white sugar, but coconut sugar. It has a lower glycemic index, and it also has more vitamins and nutrients in it. So I really like that. You can actually get like a caramel taste. So I can do
wow.
like caramel, a green smoothie as well. So
That
it
sounds
is wonderful.
that
And
sounds
and
good.
when I have company over, I make it for them as well. And I've never met anybody who doesn't like it. Some people they say, "Oh, I don't like bananas. What if I don't like bananas?" Put more lemon juice in it. Put more water in it. If you don't like the consistency of this like thick milkshake, then put more water in it. So that's the
Yeah.
thing. You can customize your green smoothie so everybody can like it.
I
It's
like
a personal thing.
it.
Yes.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and then one thing that keeps going through my head, do you have an idea of the average number of calories you eat per day now?
I don't count calories because I think it has too much of a diet mentality. And
Yeah,
right now, Paul, my focus is actually not about the calories or about weight. I would like to lose a little bit of weight, but I'm not going to focus on that. I am going to focus on healing migraine. That's it. I am
yeah,
on that journey. So I am not that um, narcissistic that I'm just into, oh, it's all about having this perfect body. Because a
yeah,
perfect body to me is, first of all, it's a body that feels amazing. And also, I believe that the better you feel in your own skin, actually, the more attractive you are. Don't you find
yeah,
that? That people who really feel awesome and they have a lot of energy, they don't get by just from 10 cups of coffee, but they get by from good energy sources. You can just tell the difference.
yeah.
I used to run on adrenaline energy, and that's what I'm trying to get away from. So I'm
That's a
not
great.
going to focus too much on the weight thing. I think it's going to happen. It will. It will just the last, maybe I would like to lose maybe 6 pounds, but it's going to happen. No big deal,
That's
and
great.
it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I like it. I like all that. Um, Let me ask you about sleep. What do you think about sleep? Do you try to get a certain number of hours? Do you just
Oh,
sleep until you're finished?
sleep is the most important health component, and I actually listened to a very good advice from Dr. Douglas Graham, 80-10-10.
Yeah,
He said that you can't sleep too much because when you are done sleeping, you're done. So let's say that you wake up, let's say at 5 o'clock in the morning. If you don't fall back to sleep, you're done sleeping. You have had enough sleep.
right.
If you fall back to sleep, you're not done sleeping. And I believe a lot of so-called health experts out there, they say, be careful not to sleep too much. I used to go to all these Tony Robbins seminars, and there's a lot of good things to say about Tony Robbins. I had a blast,
Yeah,
and he has great energy, and there are some few people who can get by with like 4 hours of sleep, but he always talks so much about we don't need sleep. And I worked for a Danish company for 4 years, and they were this kind of Danish Tony Robbins energizer bunny company, and we did all these seminars, and we did 24-hour seminars with no sleep.
Wow.
So when the employees that we taught, they got tired, these teachers would say, "Oh, you know, tiredness is just it's just the state that you're giving yourself." BS. You know, we need sleep. You don't get stressed because you're stressing. You get stressed because you do not have the right balance between activity and rest. That's why employees, they go down with stress. It's not because they work too much. If I go on stage and I say, "Oh, I'm not going to stress myself, I'm only going to give 70% of myself," that's BS. But if I go in and I give 110%, and then after that, I calm down and I rest, then it's like going to the gym where you stress the muscle. But does the muscle get stronger while you're stressing it? No, it gets stronger while you're resting after that. So it's all about having that balance. So I am a huge sleep cheerleader, and I go to bed very often right after my daughter has gone to bed at like the latest 9 o'clock.
Wow, that's good.
And that's when I go to. It's hard right now because it's so light.
Yeah.
It doesn't get dark until 12, but I have dark curtains and everything, so I really try to block out the light and just calm down. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I don't fall asleep until maybe 11, and that's okay, or 12, but at least I'm resting. I listen to meditation, I listen to inspirational talks, to podcasts, and just try to relax. I don't have the computer on. I have my little iPod in my ears sometimes. So that's great.
And I like what you said there about you know, if you wake up and you're finished, you're finished. And so not only are you stressing, allow yourself to get enough sleep. You're not making some arbitrary rule like you must get 10 hours, or it's you need as much as you need.
The more active I am during the day, the more sleep I need.
Okay.
I think it's like the more active you are, the more calories you need.
Okay.
So I think you are absolutely right that you can't have a rule that says 8 hours every night.
Yeah.
That's not the.
I saw something interesting the other day that suggested if you take in more calories during the day, you will need more sleep to process it. So I thought that was interesting.
I think that does make sense, Paul, because if you think about it, what takes up most energy is digestion.
Yeah.
So the more food that you eat, it would make sense. Now then again, it would also depend on where does those calories come from. Because if calories comes from easy digestive potatoes and fruit, I guess that you can have more calories and not need as much sleep. I don't know, but I'm just thinking that would be logical. That if you have calories from fast food.
Yeah.
Okay,
I want to go into another topic which you kind of alluded to in our part one, and that is the way that you interact socially with other people, perhaps first immediate family, spouse, children, in terms of this diet, and then after that, more broadly, the general public. So you know everything that you know about this diet. You know its potential for health, and we have still a large percentage of society not recognizing these principles. So how do you navigate all that?
Well, if we're going to start with my family, if I had a magic wand, I would make my husband and daughter vegan right now.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I think my daughter will, but my husband is not into it, and I have to respect that this is my hobby. I'm the one who's trying to heal. I'm the one who's reading the books, going on YouTube. So he is just not that into all this.
Yeah.
And he respects that I'm doing it, but if I start preaching, then I don't change him at all. I know that for sure. You know, I remember back in the day when I was after him all the time. This is like maybe 15 years ago. We were sitting, that was before I went vegan, we were sitting at the morning breakfast table and he was putting butter on a roll. And I said, do you really need that much butter? And then he took the knife and took a whole bunch of butter, lifted up his shirt, and put it on his stomach. Because I said, you might as well put it directly on your stomach. You know, so that's what he did. He put it directly on his stomach. So I learned a long time ago that don't even go there. You know, if he wants to eat a whole pizza by himself, he'll definitely do that. But what I have noticed is be the change you want to see in others. So
Yeah.
he has actually started to lose weight his own way. He is crazy about bicycling, and that's why I've seen proof what Harley and Freely are saying about biking being the best weight loss exercise ever. Because the weight, since he started to bike, the weight is coming off, and he's not changing the diet that much. So that really, I think he lost he started this spring to bike, and he has lost, what was it, 13 kilos.
Wow.
He about 20 something pounds.
Okay. Yeah.
Just by biking.
That's great.
So he's never sick. I mean, I'm the one who's having the migraine. He never has a sick day from work. And again, we can go into a whole discussion about what is health, because maybe he's more sick than I am, and he just doesn't have the symptoms. You know, maybe he'll drop by a heart attack or something. You never know. But I'm just saying that you can't change anybody by preaching. I think it froze. There you go.
Okay. With the meat that he does eat, do you guys buy like grass-fed or free range, that sort of thing?
You know, Paul, actually he gets lunch in the cafeteria every day at work. So he doesn't eat a lot of meat at the house, which I'm so happy about.
Okay,
So
good, yeah.
a lot of times he will just, make a sandwich or something when he comes home, because he has already had dinner at work.
Okay.
So that's my daughter. I'm very lucky because she's a very picky eater. So she actually doesn't like meat, and she doesn't like milk. So, but I don't make anything illegal. You know, if she's going to a birthday party, I don't say don't have this or don't have that. What I always do is I fill her up with good stuff first. I make a lot of carrot sticks and cucumbers and, you know, the few things that I really know that she likes: apples, strawberries, pears, almonds. I give her all the good stuff, and then I just hope that she can't eat so much of all the other stuff. That's how I go about it. So I wish that he would get more into this lifestyle. I think it is sometimes hard when you know what you know and you can't really discuss it with your partner. And sometimes I almost get jealous when I see vegan couples out there, you know, that they have that thing together. I really wish that. But then I must say I have a wonderful husband, and he treats me amazing, and I love him for what he is. You know, you can't see this, but I have a huge painting in the living room that says, "We love the things we love for what they are." That's Robert Frost.
I like that. I like that.
And we just got to remember that the diet, it would be great if people would change that, but people are ready when they're ready.
You know, Gitte, I really like what you're saying. You know, not everyone is going to leave their spouse or their family because those people are not vegan. So.
No. That, to me, would be absurd. I mean, we are such a healthy couple in so many ways. We communicate very well. We have this great relationship. Now, why would I say, oh, you don't want to go vegan? But I'm not going to lie, I wish I could change him. Definitely, I do. And I think, you know, just as an example, Paul, we discussed the other day, where are we going to go for our winter vacation, because it gets very dark and cold here in Denmark, so we want to go somewhere warm. And we went to Florida in January, last year. Or this year it was. And then Jörn, he wanted to go to Florida again. I wanted to go to Thailand, Chiang Mai. Now, why do I want to go to Thailand, Chiang Mai? Because of the fruit, you know.
Right,
We
right.
have discussion about that. So we have some different values, and I'm not going to pretend that it's just hunky-dory all the time and we never get into fights about it. But the thing is that when we got married, we were like this, and then I went like that. He didn't. He maybe went like this, I went like this. So let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then in terms of the broader public, I guess it's a similar principle for you, but you know, you run into people who might be a little bit receptive. You run into people who are downright opposed or have no knowledge whatsoever. How do you interact with the broader public? I know that your work kind of revolves around this, so you're educating as much as you can. What do you do when you get into a party situation or a public event and you have people that are not at all receptive?
You know, Paul, it's a very good question, and it's funny that you said that my work revolves around it, because it does and it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing: I'm very aware of who's ready to hear this message. Because how I make most of my money, I do make some money coaching people in health. So that's a part of my business as well, not the biggest part. The biggest part of my business is public speaking for companies. And when I go and speak to a company, the employees, they have not chosen to hear me. They are forced to hear me speak, which means that I cannot come and preach a vegan message, because they would never hire me again and they would hate me right away. You know? So sometimes I'll make a joke about it, but I have to win them over first. If I start by saying, hello, my name is Gitte, I'm vegan. Bye-bye. They're not going to listen to what I talk about motivation and energy management and how not to get stressed. So I do talk about diet in the sense that, yes, it's very important to listen to what food gives you more energy, what robs you of energy, but I don't label myself coming in and saying I'm a vegan.
You know,
if I feel that they're ready, I'll go a little bit there, but that would be the fastest way to destroy my own public speaking.
Okay, Gitte, I want you to say a little something about that. Why do you think that the public consciousness is such that would be the consequence? Like if you opened your presentation with the fact that you're vegan, what is it in the public consciousness that creates that kind of knee-jerk resistance?
When people's beliefs are challenged, a lot of people, they close their mind instead of opening it up. So if they studied a lot, they would maybe find out that there's something smart about this veganism. But if I have an hour and a half with them, they have not chosen to listen to me, they eat meat, I wrong them by saying how perfect I am, and then I don't reach anybody.
Right.
So instead, what I do, I always end my speech by saying, okay, this was what I could give you in an hour and a half. My intention was to come with as many ways as possible that you can increase your energy and happiness. So that was only an hour and a half. If you are interested in more information, I have huge bundle of content online for free. So you can go to my Love and Carbs on Facebook. It's called Kærlighed og Kulhydrater in Danish, and that's a vegan site. But they can choose if they want to go there. And a lot of people go there after they hear my speech, and then they become vegan or almost vegan. So that's a tunnel that I get them into. So it's not that I don't reach people with this vegan message when I do the speaking engagements for companies, but I reach them in a more subtle way.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. So if you preach or teach, you're not gonna get to as many people as if you reach, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Reach, yeah. I love that. Love that. Okay. I think we might have addressed this to some degree in part one, but I thought I'd just touch on it briefly again. And maybe you could share with the viewers, you know, in your journey on this, you've probably learned quite a bit about the ethics involved in what happens with animal production. I wonder if you could share with us some of the things you came across that you found particularly upsetting that you didn't know were going on before.
Definitely. The first thing was the environment. I was very surprised that actually the animal industry caused more CO2 than all transportation combined.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little bit a double standard when our politicians, especially the ones on the left wing here in Denmark, they preach so much about we need to drive more energy efficient cars and all that, which I'm all for. But
Yes.
then they go and have a hamburger afterwards. I'm like, hello. You know, I think it is totally crazy that Al Gore, now I know that he has gone vegan now, hooray, but back in the day, he did a whole movie about CO2 where he didn't even talk about the animal industry.
Yeah.
And when he was asked why he didn't go vegan, it was like, oh, you know. So, and he's a very intelligent, smart man. He knows. But he also knows that I believe that, you know, there's more to it. It is money. It is not because he's not going to get sponsored for this movie by the industry if he talks down on it.
Right.
So it's just a huge, huge political money thing, and it's so fake. And I just can't take it. So that's why I think we need to do something. This is destroying. And another thing that really, really upsets me, we have this world, this planet, and it is so abundant. There is plenty of food for everybody. No problem. We have enough corn for everybody. Now, what we do instead is we have these factory farming. I get so upset I'm spitting at you right now. Say it, don't spray it. But, you know, it's so upsetting that we have enough food for everybody, but we choose to feed animals with that food instead. That is ridiculous. No child in this world, no adult should starve to death.
Amen. Amen.
I cannot. We must be smarter than this. Either we're gonna evolve or we're gonna die. I'm really serious. We are not. This planet is not gonna make it 500 years from now. I do not believe that. If we really don't pull ourselves together and look at what is it that we're doing to destroy this planet, why is there not enough food for everybody? I know a lot of people out there, they'll say, well, you know, if we had enough food for everybody, then there would be other resources and we couldn't be so many people on this planet. I know people, they all have
intellectual excuses. Yeah. Okay.
It really upsets me.
I got you.
So that's the thing that really upset me the most. But I read Alicia Silverstone, the actor. She has written The Kind Diet.
Yeah.
And she said something. I listened to a podcast interview with her one day, and she said something that I could really relate to. That once she had read all this and she knew, she felt like she was the only one in the world yelling, "The house is on fire, people!" And other people, they didn't even feel the heat. But it actually eventually got her sick, that she tried to push this message. And that's why I'm back to not going into a public speaking engagement and telling people these things, not going to a dinner party and start this argument unless somebody else asks me a question. So I try to be a little bit subtle and not having the, oh, I'm better because I drive. You know, I'm not perfect. I couldn't have my job if I didn't drive a car. That's from where I live, public transportation, no way. So I'm not perfect, but I'm just saying that this huge thing that we can do, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's something like eating one steak is similar as taking an airplane from Denmark to Thailand, just in CO2.
That's
And
insane.
people are like, oh, we can't fly that much because that's so bad for the environment. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. You're so right. So right. Okay. All right. I know that you like to keep things positive, and I totally appreciate that. But sometimes it's good to call a spade, and I appreciate you sharing
See,
some
I
of
get
this.
it out now. I don't get it out with my husband. I'm not allowed to talk about this stuff. So I'm like, yeah. And also, I love animals. I've always loved animals.
Yeah.
So, and have dogs all my life, and rabbits, and all kinds of animals. So why would I eat my friends? That's another thing. So,
Yeah. Okay. There's one other topic I'd like to hear your thoughts on, and what it is, you know, it's the spiritual dimension of all this. Now, these are things that are hard to define,
yeah.
and you know, I respect atheists. If you're an atheist and this has no relevance for you, don't worry about it. You know, if you're not interested, you can end watching here. But for those people that do have a spiritual aspect to their lives, can you say a little something about this? Because it's very powerful for people, and they frequently reference it in terms of how it played a significant role in their journey. And can you perhaps talk about how this spiritual aspect can vary greatly from individual to individual and have a very different vocabulary, and yet have the same power for them?
Definitely. I think that people are going more from religion to spirituality because I think that we are tired of all the dogma, all the rules. I think more of us, we do not believe that God is a man on a cloud who
Right.
says, you deserve a good life and you don't deserve a good life, and I'm going to
Right.
help you. It's not a Santa Claus where you put your order in.
Right.
So So Caroline Myss is an author I really like, and she says God is law, and that's actually how I see it. God is law. God is either if you believe or not, there is an energy. There are laws in this universe that works whether you believe them or not, and that's how I really see it. I love the spirituality called A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
That's my favorite because A Course in Miracles, you can study, it has Christian terminology,
Yeah.
but you can study it no matter what religion you have or if you have no religion. Actually, one of my friends, she calls herself an atheist and she loves The Course in Miracles
Okay. Yeah.
because The Course in Miracles says that everything real is love and fear is not real. So fear is just an illusion. So everything you think, say, or do is either in alignment with fear or love. So how I use this on a very practical level in my healing journey and also healing the migraine is just to remind myself and be aware, okay, am I in alignment with love right now or am I in alignment with fear? So a very practical tool, a spiritual tool that I use, Paul, is I actually imagine that there's like a round circle.
Hmm.
And within this round circle, there is the Gitte who has an unlimited potential. That's the Gitte who is full of wisdom. And she's 100% love. She's in alignment with love. She's inside that circle. If I have a thought that doesn't feel good, I'm outside the circle.
Huh.
Okay? I'm outside the circle. I have made a rule for myself, a spiritual rule, that I am not allowed to take any action in my life when I am outside the circle.
Huh.
That means that if I have a thought that says, I'm never going to heal the migraine, poor me, this is something that I inherited, I'm not allowed to take any action that says, oh, now I'm going to go on a juice fast to clear this up. So
Huh.
my first thing is not to make a decision, but it is to be in spiritual alignment. So I talk myself into the circle, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And the way I do that is I use two tools. The one tool, and I have a huge poster with this as well, that I actually give employees when I teach them, because they can use this. And it's very spiritual, but I don't call it spiritual, because then closed mind.
Right,
but
right.
I just call it coaching. But
Yeah.
one tool that you can use is, which thought would feel a little better now? So reaching for a better feeling thought, that has saved my life. Just because if I have a thought that's very negative and it's not a healing thought, and I would like to heal, I can't take such a big jump from going, I'm never going to get rid of these migraines, till I have never felt better. That is too big of a jump. So positive thinking alone doesn't work, because then I would make myself wrong for not feeling that in my heart. But if I say, what would feel a little bit better now? Okay, then I reach for that thought. Okay, I'm never going to heal these migraines. A lot of people, they have healed migraines. Does that feel a little better? Absolutely. Let's take it to the next level. So I talk myself in the circle, and I actually, it doesn't say this exactly in the Course of Miracles, but I'm a very low practical girl. I like something very simple, but it is, in fact, the message there: get in alignment with love and take action from there.
As far as you can, as far as you can, yeah.
As far as you can.
Knowing what you're capable of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first. That's the first tool. A second spiritual tool that I use all the time is, let me see, what do I say in English? I'm so used to thinking and saying this in Danish. Oh yeah, I'm willing to see this in a different way. I'm willing to see this in a different way. So no matter if I am standing in mud till my knees or my elbows or my neck, if I stand there, I don't run away from the bad feeling. I don't make myself wrong for having negative thoughts, because I'm not thinking, I'm being thought. That's what I believe anyway. So thoughts are going to happen, no matter if you want them or not, and some of them are negative. But if I say,
that's really interesting, Gitte. Can you break that down a little bit? I'm being thoughts.
Yeah, I'll get back to that, but definitely. So let me just finish this one, because if I'm saying I'm willing to see this in a different way, and I'm standing in mud, what I do is I change from wishing magic to creating a miracle. I'm willing to see this differently. I invite a whole buffet of possibilities that I would never see if I focused on the mud.
Yep.
You see? And the difference between magic and a miracle is that magic sounds like this. Something outside of me has to change so I can feel better, which is hopeless, because you can't change people. And a lot of circumstances, you can't change them right now either. So you're fighting with what is. But if I instead say, oh, I want to create a miracle, the difference between a miracle and magic is outside of me. A miracle is an inner perception from fear to love. And that's my spiritual practice.
Beautiful.
That's my inner GPS, that I really do the very best I can to guide my life through that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah,
I think you kind of touched on this a little bit while you were talking there, but sometimes people can use a positive outlook in a way that is somehow artificial, like they're seeing everything as positive because they feel like they're supposed to, and in some ways it can not really be realistic. It doesn't look at the real world. So I think you kind of addressed this, but that kind of interests me. This isn't just about speaking positively or saying positive things, although that has value in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also an honesty and an integrity to this kind of approach. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with you, Paul, because the problem, I used to read a lot of self-help books, and the problem with all these books was that they all said, just think positive. You know, if something negative happens, it's just because you had negative thoughts and you attracted it. That is not true, as I see it. Because positive thinking, here's the problem. what I said before. I believe I'm not thinking, I'm being thought. What does
Yeah.
that mean? Am I beating my heart, or is my heart just beating me? How do you choose to look at it? And I always tell people this when I give lectures. I say, I want to prove to you that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. Let's say an evening you can't fall asleep. You're very stressed at work. You have a million thoughts a minute. What happens if you tell yourself, I'm not allowed to think about anything? Is it totally empty then? Or does the thoughts keep on coming? You know?
Yeah.
The thoughts, if you have been to a power talk and you're all pumped up, Tony Robbins, go be positive, and you get a speeding ticket on the way home, are you going to think, that was the best lesson for me? That was really positive. Man, I love this. No, you're going to say, you're not going to like that. Because,
Right.
so negative thoughts, they happen automatically, like clouds. They come, they go. Some are dark, some are light. Just let it be. Beatles had it right. Let it be. Let it be. Don't fight it, because what you fight will fight you back. So what you do is you allow those thoughts to be there. Don't ever make yourself wrong about any thought you have. You cannot think wrongly. You can always be in a loving space where you observe the thought and you say, okay, which thought would feel a little better now? And that's it. So it's
Yeah, you're reminding me. There's a teacher I really like. Her name is Pamela. Her last name escapes me, but I'll type it in later on.
definitely.
And there's a term that the Eastern tradition has. It's called Satsang, and Satsang refers to people getting together and talking about the principle of Advaita or unity. There's a kind of transcendental unity within which this whole phenomena of life occurs. And in this experience of satsang, you gather with people and you share this quality through conversation. But this particular teacher, Pamela, she says, invite these thoughts, these negative thoughts that you're talking about, invite them into yourself for satsang. So it's kind of like you lovingly accept this thought, whatever it is, and in that process of transformation occurs. It may not. It's not like you can count on a specific outcome, but by inviting everything in with a loving attitude, instead of having a kind of adversarial relationship with a negative thought, by inviting it in and accepting it, it loses its power. It becomes it's something observed, and it transforms because of what how you're approaching it.
What you're saying brings up a lot of thoughts. And I believe that it's very true, and especially for what you said about not being attached to a certain outcome. I believe that's a huge spiritual lesson that is very difficult for me to learn, because what I have had was, well, if I do A, B, and C right, then I should be guaranteed a certain outcome that is positive.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is a huge ego thing that is very, very difficult to let go of. And that is definitely part of the struggle that I am having to heal when it comes to the migraines. That is the manifestation of my things that I need to fix still. But and fix is not even the right word, but heal. Because it is this thing that you're used to, okay, if I put in this amount of work, then I get this outcome.
Yeah.
And but as Wayne Dyer, I also like Wayne Dyer a lot. He says, be open to everything and attached to nothing. And if you can do that, that is really, and how do you know if you are attached to something? Because you get pissed off when it doesn't happen.
Right,
That's
right,
when you know, okay, you are attached to this. You need to
right.
let go. And there's a difference between letting go and giving up, which also took me a long time to learn. Because I thought letting go and giving up was the same thing. And it is so far from each other, I couldn't even believe it.
You know, it's interesting. This is a big emphasis in Eastern tradition and yoga, and there's kind of two sides to this. So there's desire for something you don't have, or
Mhm.
aversion to something you don't want. You know,
That's right.
and freeing yourself from those two principles is greatly liberating.
It's very liberating. And also, there's a difference between pain and suffering. That's another
Yeah,
spiritual thing. And I
yeah,
think that would be interesting to talk about when it comes to healing as well, and having a healthy lifestyle. That really has helped me a lot when I have been in pain with migraines and I have taken every physical step that I could to change it. Then what's left is not to change on the outside, but is to change on the inside and giving
yeah.
it a different meaning. So, and I listened to Eckhart Tolle. He said something very interesting. He said that when you take, now we're going to talk about Christianity, but I believe that people of other religions, they would find this interesting as well because it's just
Yeah,
a metaphor, a symbol. But when Jesus was on the cross, like this,
yeah,
he was hanging on the cross. In the beginning, he said he was fighting with what is. He was saying something like, Father, why have you abandoned me? Where
right,
are
right,
you? He was fighting the pain. Like,
right,
I'm not supposed to be here. Why are you not saving me?
right.
And then when he has been hanging on the cross for a while, he turns into this axe and says, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Something like that. So he
yeah,
surrenders, and he still experienced the pain having nails through his fingers and feet. Of course, the pain is still there, but the suffering is gone. And I
yes,
think that is so beautiful that we can use this. Of course, this is extreme. We're not going to be Jesus, not yet anyway, but we can maybe see that as a role model when we have a pain in our life and stop and say, okay, have I taken the steps that I can to lessen the pain? And if I have taken every step that I can and the pain is still there, I actually do not have to suffer. I
yeah.
actually do, and a great tool for me has been when the pain is very intense, I look at it as acupuncture. So I
Huh.
actually imagine that where the pain is in the head, I'm saying, okay, there is the acupuncture, and that's where it gets the energy to flow. I kind of meditate on that, and then it gets bearable.
Huh.
Even an English word. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. You're reminding me of a technique that I imagine in all your reading you have probably come across and tried. But there's a kind of meditative technique with pain whereby when you're feeling discomfort, if you direct your awareness along the pain towards the source, if you can identify or attempt to identify the source within your physical body by
yeah.
taking your awareness to that starting point, sometimes what will happen is there'll be a shift in consciousness in relation to the pain. Have you ever tried that?
Definitely. And I would recommend everybody who's dealing with physical pain to go and look up Peter Levine,
Yeah,
Freedom from Pain. I think he has a PhD in this, and he is really good. And I got a book with a CD that comes with it, and it has all kinds of exercises, and it is exactly what you're saying there, Paul. Different techniques that you can make sure that the pain doesn't turn into suffering and you
yeah,
can actually get the energy flow back in your body again.
yeah.
He is brilliant, really.
I can remember. I don't know if I've ever had a migraine, but I can remember in the past having a headache, and using this technique, and an interesting thing would happen when I got to what felt like it was the source. It was like the pain. It was like I was entering into the center of the pain, and then once in the center, it kind of evaporates. Very interesting.
Wow.
It wouldn't last for, you know, it would only last as long as I could keep my awareness in the center, and then as soon as I shift out of it, I'm back. But it may be the beginnings of a way to control it. I don't know, you know.
And what you're saying, the key word there, Paul, is awareness. As long as your awareness is there, and isn't that the case for everything? As long as you are awake and aware, you don't eat food that's not good for you. You don't calm yourself down by poisoning your body. You feel it. You are aware of it instead. So that is the key, and that is difficult. And most of us, we are not there yet, but it's a process, and we're doing the best we can with the resources that we got.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's what we need. So, you know, we have to have empathy with other people as well, because it's not easy for us. And if you're not doing this, you know, this is part of my work, so I get to study this all the time and work with it all the time. But if you have a full-time job at a grocery store and you come home and you have 3 kids, I mean, you might not have time to sit down and study the Course in Miracles and Peter Levine. And so I really do understand why there is so much suffering going on out there. People are just trying to hang on, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of these perpetual cycles contribute to this suffering, and then there's a lack of awareness about them. But anyway, let me ask you to kind of give some general tips to people if they were considering this vegan lifestyle for perhaps the first time. What would be some broad general tips that you would give them?
Oh, there are so many. How many hours do you have? I would definitely watch Forks Over Knives.
Yep.
What I did was I went and watched some debates between paleo people and vegan people on the internet to hear both sides and what made absolute common sense to me before I just judged. I would read the World Peace Diet for sure. Watch a lot of movies. If you're not a big reader, you can download audiobooks and listen while you go for a walk in the woods or are on your bike. I would start doing a green smoothie and drink water in the morning. So that's the first step I would do. Drink some water, have a green smoothie in the morning. That's it. That's the first step. And then don't change anything else.
Yep.
And then watch what happens in your body, because what will happen is the more greens you get into your body, the less cravings you have for junk. That happens every time, every time. Make it taste good. Don't be a know-it-all kind of person when you find out what's really going on. Like, maybe I have been a little bit too much in this video, but people can turn it off. But if people, they can't turn you off, then just be very careful, because you will get very passionate about it the more you get into it.
Yeah.
And also exercise. Oh my gosh, exercise is the key. I don't believe that optimal healing can happen without movement. And I have had some clients, and they say to me, I have adrenal fatigue, so I can't exercise. And I don't get, no. That's not true.
Yeah.
You can go for a walk. You can go for a 5-minute walk around the house.
Yeah.
Just move, pump the lymph system. That's very important.
Yeah.
So watch Forks Over Knives. Watch Joe Cross's movie, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead.
Yep.
Read the World Peace Diet. And if you really want the truth and you're ready for it, watch Earthlings.
Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to do. A lot of people, they say, oh, I watched Food Inc. Food Inc. is a Disney movie compared to Earthlings. Earthlings, you get the truth, you know.
Yeah.
So I would watch that, and then the good thing, it's such an easy time to do it because we are a ton of people for free giving so much advice.
Yeah.
Because we just can't not do it because we're so passionate about it. So there's so much free stuff out there. So there's no excuse not to do it. Even if you want to keep your old habits, then write down, what would you like to feel? How would you like to feel? Write it down. What would I like to feel? What if I had 3 core feelings I would love to feel every day? What would those 3 core feelings be? Write the 3 feelings down on little Post-its. Put one on your computer, one on your bicycle, one on the bathroom mirror, one on the refrigerator. So you marinate yourself in, oh, this is how I want to feel. So let's say, Paul, that I have a core feeling that is vitality. The next step is saying, what do I need to do today to generate that feeling? Oh, I can make a green smoothie. I can go power walking. I can go and bathe in the ocean. So it doesn't become a goal that's so hard, oh yeah, I gotta make a green smoothie because I want to be thin one day. It's not about that. It's about what I want to feel now. I want to feel that now, so of course I will do what generates that feeling. So the doing actually comes second to the being with a certain feeling.
Yeah, Gitte, this is really interesting, and you probably know more about this now. Tell me at any time if you have to go. We've been at this a while, so whenever you have to go, let me know. But I think Tony Robbins was into an approach called neuro-linguistic programming, and tell me if I've got it right. But
no, you got it right. NLP, yeah.
Right, and I think, tell me if this notion is correct, that we develop habits and patterns, and then we have these feelings that are associated with these habits and patterns, and we're so accustomed to them that they feel natural and normal. And when we introduce a new pattern, it doesn't have that kind of emotional power behind it that these existing habits do. So it's kind of like you kind of have to shift. You have to kind of create a new way of associating emotions with these new habits so that they become enjoyable, or you perceive them in an enjoyable way.
Yeah, let's take running for an example. Who enjoys running the first 2 weeks? Nobody.
Yeah.
It takes a while. And NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, as you talk about, they say that it takes 21 days to create a habit.
Right.
I think some things takes longer. Some things may take not as long, but definitely always ask yourself, what's the benefit? What do I want to feel? Let the feeling be the driving force, and then it will be easier to do the rituals. So Tim Van Orden, he talks a lot about this because he deals with depression, and he has a hard time sometimes getting himself out of bed, and yet he is in amazing shape and a totally healthy guy who's a very top level athlete. Now, how does that happen when you are so severely depressed that you actually have a hard time putting on your shoes in the morning?
Yeah.
Well, how do you go from that to there? And he has some very, very good tips. I would definitely anybody who wants to hear that, go to Running Raw, the YouTube channel. But what he says, one of the things that I use, he says, is that make it very, very small steps. So let's say that you really don't want that. Now, I started using my spinning bike. I don't always enjoy that. Not yet. I like better just going for a walk in the woods. But I know that I feel amazing afterwards. So I just say, and this was Tim's tip, he said, just say, let's say I'm just going to go and do an easy spin for 5 minutes. Just for 5 minutes. Just, very gentle. And once I'm on that bike, I am pumping it, and the music is on, or I'm watching something amazing on TV, and I'm into it, and I stay there for longer. And that's the same as going for a walk. I don't want to go for a walk. Just go for 5 minutes. And then you feel so much better and you can't not do it. I mean, I couldn't even imagine living without exercise or green smoothies.
Yeah.
Those are like two amazing tools in my vitality box.
And have you found that something that Durian Ryder and Freely talk about is that once you start getting enough quality calories in there, you're kind of more inclined to get out and move. You kind of have this energy and you just want to move.
You're touching on something very interesting there, because I think that a lot of people, they don't get results with 80-10-10 because they're not moving, but especially in the beginning. But you're absolutely right. Once you get the quality carbs in, and it's not just about carbs, it's about getting the carbs from the nutrient-dense foods.
Yes.
And bananas and stuff. But once you get that in, you just get all this energy. You just want to move. You can't sit still anymore, so it's natural.
Yeah.
So definitely, movement. We are designed. Now, when she built people, when she invented us, she invented us as we were supposed to be outside and move when it's light, and be inside and rest when it's dark. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to sit on our behind and it grows on us. We're supposed to move it. So movement is definitely key. And there's a link between the mental and the physical as well with the movement. You know, I don't know if we have time for a real short story here at the end.
Sure.
Okay. But I used to take dance lessons when I was a child, like ballroom dancing. And my partner and I, we went to these contests on the weekends, and it was just very low practical, you know, no makeup or none of that fancy stuff. It was just cozy and fun. Now, one weekend we were sent to this town, and we thought that it was just a little children's cozy tournament. And we walk into this huge ballroom, and all the children, they were our age, like 11, 12, but they all look like something from Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, God.
Big boobies and glitter and high heels, you know. And I was standing there with my little sandals with socks in them, no makeup, picky tails. So our thought, the first dance that we had to go and do was an English waltz. Now, our thought was, all the other children are much better than we are. They are much more professional. So we went onto the floor like, you know, we'll hurry up and get out of here.
Right,
so we danced the whole English waltz against all the other couples, like in the wrong direction, and we didn't catch the beat. So we were out of the beat.
Huh.
And we got, I think we were like 75 out of 75 children. I mean, it was bad. Okay? So I started crying. And I said to my dancing teacher, I said, we need to go home and learn these things. I was devastated. He said, no. You know all the steps. You know how to do it right. We need to go back and learn how to walk onto the floor like it was the winning dance. That's it. So we went back to the dance studio and we spent an hour learning how do you walk onto a floor if you are the winner. And that really taught me as a 12-year-old how much the mental and physical, like emotion, comes from motion. There's a two-way street here. So if I'm very nervous, I have been to a lot of exams at the university, like verbal exams, where you had to memorize 2,000 pages of material, and it was just a lot of work. I was so nervous, but right before I went in, I would always say, how would I move if I got an A+? How would my voice be? How would my body language be? How would I present it? And what happens when you move your body in a certain way, you can remember all the stuff that you prepared. I'm not saying show up unprepared, but I'm saying what happens is you change your physical state, and voila, the mental state, you become so much. So people, when they study, they shouldn't sit down. They should study while they power walk and get it into the nervous system.
You know, this is a really powerful point, Gitte, and you're reminding me, I used to teach yoga, and a very interesting phenomena is the relationship between posture and psychology. And, you know, as soon as you have somebody become a little more conscious of their posture, it can have a very powerful effect on the way they interact with the world. It's very, very simple, but simply just changing the posture, and then, like you're saying, the attitude you have while you're interacting with the world, it's like night and day.
Attitude is everything, so pick a good one.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. I like it. All right, Gitte. I imagine we could go on all day long, and I would love that, but I'm sure you have other things to do. So.
You know what my idea is, Paul? Now that you and we figured this Google Hangout out, what do you say that we do many small videos? I don't know how many people are still with us on this interview. It's been long. But let's say from now on we can do little 10-minute interviews. You and I can come up with a subject and then do many small videos so we don't bore people.
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So thanks for taking the time. It's a real pleasure.
You are so welcome. Thanks for having me. Bye, Paul.
Take care, Gitte.
Bye.